Mark Thompson stood behind the polished counter of Elite Bistro, his arms crossed, eyes narrowing at the woman who had just walked in. She wore a simple hoodie and jeans, her hair pulled back in a ponytail, no flashy jewelry or designer bag to signal status. "Sorry, ma'am," he said, his voice laced with false politeness. "We're fully booked tonight. No tables available." The way he said it, with that slight curl of his lip, made it clear it wasn't about reservations. It was about her. Kendra Hayes, CEO of Technova, one of the fastest-growing AI companies in the country, felt the familiar sting. She had faced this before, too many times. But tonight, after a long day closing a multi-million-dollar deal, all she wanted was a quiet meal. "I see empty tables right there," she replied calmly, pointing to the half-vacant dining room. Mark's face hardened. "Those are reserved for paying customers." The implication hung heavy. Kendra's chest tightened, memories flooding back. She forced a smile. "I'll wait at the bar then." As she turned away, whispers rippled through the room. A couple at a nearby table exchanged glances, one shaking their head. Kendra pulled out her phone, her fingers trembling slightly, not from fear, but from the raw anger building inside. This wasn't just about dinner. It was about every door slammed in her face, every assumption made because of her skin. Growing up in a small town, Kendra had watched her father, Kenneth Hayes, battle the same walls. Kenneth worked double shifts at the factory, his hands calloused from years of labor, only to be passed over for promotions given to less qualified men. "They see us as threats, Kenny," he'd say, using her childhood nickname. "But you'll show them." Kenneth had saved every penny for her education, skipping meals so she could have books. When he died from a heart attack at 52, stress from endless discrimination, the doctors said, Kendra was 18, left with nothing but his words and a burning drive. She juggled 3 jobs through college, graduated top of her class, and built Technova from a garage startup to a billion-dollar empire. But moments like this reminded her, success didn't erase the hurt. Mark watched her with a smug grin, turning to chat with a white couple who strolled in without reservations. He seated them immediately. Kendra's blood boiled. She texted her assistant, Christopher. "Find out who owns Elite Bistro. Make an offer they can't refuse." Christopher, ever efficient, replied within seconds, "On it." Owner's name is Paul Reynolds. Financials show they're struggling, debts piling up. Kendra leaned against the wall outside, the cool evening air doing little to calm her. Tears pricked her eyes, not from weakness, but from the weight of it all. How many times had Kenneth faced this? That night 25 years ago, when he tried to take her mother out for their anniversary here, at this very spot, and was turned away with the same excuse. He collapsed hours later, his heart giving out. Kendra had vowed then to never let anyone make her feel small again. If stories like this fire you up and remind you of your own battles, smash that like button right now and subscribe for more tales of comeback kings and queens. Your support keeps these narratives alive. Back inside, Mark laughed with his staff. Can you believe her? Thinking she can just waltz in. But Kendra's phone buzzed. Christopher again. Offer sent. Double market value. All cash. Owners interested. Minutes ticked by. Kendra re-entered, her posture straight. Mark spotted her. "I thought I made myself clear. No service." She held up her phone. "Check your email, Mark." He frowned, pulling out his device. His face drained of color as he read the message from Paul. Sale confirmed. New owner, Kendra Hayes. The room fell quiet. Patrons stared. "What? This is a joke," Mark stammered. Kendra shook her head. "No joke. You're looking at the boss now. And your first order? Pack your things. You're done here." Cheers erupted from a few tables. Waitstaff who had endured Mark's bullying nodded in approval. One server, a young black woman named Jasmine, whispered, "Thank you." Kendra felt a surge of pride, but also the ache of old wounds. This victory was for Kenneth, for every overlooked soul. As Mark begged, "Please, I have a family." Kendra's expression softened for a split second. She remembered her own struggles, nights studying by flashlight when the power was cut, her mother's tears over unpaid bills. But then the twist hit her like a wave. Paul approached, papers in hand. "Ms. Hayes, the deal's sealed. But there's something you should know." He handed her a faded photo from the restaurant's history file. It showed Kenneth, young and smiling, shaking hands with the original owner, Paul's father. Your dad invested here early on, Paul explained. A small stake, but he believed in this place. When times got tough, my dad bought him out cheap, knowing Kenneth needed the money for your schooling. I never knew the full story until now. Kendra's hands shook. This restaurant wasn't just a symbol of rejection. It held a piece of her father's dream. Buying it meant reclaiming what was partly hers all along. But the real gut punch. Mark was Paul's nephew, hired out of nepotism, perpetuating the cycle Kenneth had fought. Kendra stood there, the weight of legacy crashing down. She could fire Mark, raise the building as planned, turn it into affordable housing in Kenneth's name, or rebuild it right. Mark, she said finally, her voice steady. You get one chance. Work under new rules, no discrimination, fair pay for all. Blow it, and you're gone. He nodded frantically. But deep down, Kendra knew the twist. Vengeance felt hollow. True power was in lifting others, not just striking back. As she left, the staff applauded. The bistro would thrive now, honoring Kenneth's spirit. Ever felt that rush of turning the tables? Share your story in the comments below, like this video, and hit subscribe to join a community that celebrates real triumphs. Let's keep the conversation going. Months later, Kendra sat in her office, overlooking the city. Technova had just landed another major contract, but her mind wandered to Elite Bistro. Under new management, Jasmine promoted to lead. The place buzzed with diverse crowds, profits up 40%. Kendra had added a plaque, in memory of Kenneth Hayes, who built dreams from denial. Her mother visited often, proud tears in her eyes. He'd be smiling down, she'd say. But the emotional core remained. Kendra's buyout wasn't just business. It healed a family scar, turning pain into purpose. Yet, in quiet moments, she wondered if Kenneth would approve of sparing Mark. Redemption wasn't easy, but it felt right. One evening, Mark knocked on her door. Ms. Hayes, I'm sorry. For everything. His eyes were genuine, changed. Kendra nodded. Prove it every day. As he left, she picked up an old photo of Kenneth, tracing his face. The twist of fate had brought closure, but also a reminder. Hate cycles, unless broken with grace. If Kendra's journey moved you, don't stop here. Subscribe now, like, and share this with someone who needs a boost. More stories of resilience coming your way.